Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Friday afternoon. Hope you're well. Hope you're looking after yourself in that Baltic weather. It is cold out there today, which is probably not the type of weather that you want to be walking to the gym in your shorts, like me, because I'm an idiot. Anyway, we're talking a little bit around Jota and Lloyd Kelly in this video today. So around Jota, we've got some really interesting reports about Jota's interest in Spurs, as well as also potentially the situation that Spurs may not go for Lloyd Kelly in January. So plenty to get into, plenty to talk about. Just to say, if you're new, hit me with the subscribe button. You're very welcome to join us along for the journey. And we're going to jump in, and we're going to start with Jota. So we've got a couple of stories. I'm going to start one from Tom Barkley through the Sun. And it said that Jota wants the Spurs switch with the old Celtic manager, Ange Postecoglou, to end his Saudi nightmare. But Spurs boss is still deliberating over a January move for him, which is interesting. It is interesting. A few ways to look at it could be he's obviously dealt with Jota. He potentially likes him, potentially doesn't like him, potentially doesn't think he's ready for the Premier League, something like that. It could be that he's having to work with the whole situation of the Spurs don't have a ton of money to spend, and if you're going to go to Jota, potentially wages-wise could be expensive. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's the truth. I'm just trying to come up with different scenarios that you might sit there and think, I hadn't thought about that. That's a good idea. That's a good point. Or, I've thought about that. You're rubbish, Andrew. Or Andy. Get out. On that, though, I still find it very interesting that he's still thinking about him. For a guy who's managed him, a guy who has, had some good success with him, he's still kind of like, I don't know, maybe. And that's a bad sign, in my opinion. That's my general thought. It's a bad sign. And then from Matt Law, which might counteract what I feel about the situation. It said that insiders believe it would make a lot of sense for Spurs to make a move in January to take former Celtic winger Jota on loan for the rest of the season. Now, the reason why I think a loan deal is more likely with Jota is just money. And actually, when I was thinking about it, I'd want a loan deal. Humour me. He had a really solid season in Scotland, okay? Scotland, right? He's then gone to Saudi Arabia, which, yes, they've got some decent names that have gone there. But other than maybe a Ruben Neves and a Gabri Veiga, there's not many younger players or really exciting talents. You've got a lot of Kantés and Benzemas and Ronaldos who, probably on their day are still half decent, but, they're winding down their careers. He couldn't cut it in that league. That's a bad sign. That's a really bad sign. The Saudi league is not exactly a strong league. Lucrative, but not strong. So for me, I would like a loan deal, of a prove-it loan deal, to say, okay, well, you've done it. You've done some all right stuff in Scotland. You've not been able to do it in the Saudi league. Here's a 6-month loan deal. We'll have an option to buy. And if it works out, we'll take you. If it doesn't, we're not that keen. The other point that I want to talk about on the Jota situation is purely the situation of, look, he's on some good money, right? They spent about, £25 million, I think it was, on Jota in the summer. They want to move him on. He wants to go. He's not probably going to play in the Saudi league at all. So if I'm sitting there as Spurs, I'm not going to go, here's 25 million, here's 150 grand a week, please come here, please. No, that's just, I'm going to put this as nicely as possible. That is stupid. Those two parties, being the Saudi League and Jota, both want the move. Okay, cool, you both want the move, you want to come here, you want to sell them to us. Totally get it, on board with you. We're not paying 25 million, we're not paying 150 grand a week. Simple as that. And that's how I would want Spurs to do it. I'd say they really want to get rid of him. Money to them is not a massive deal. 10 million. Put the first offer in like 10 million, just sort of see what they say, because they'll probably reject it and go, well, no, we want 25 million. And, Jota's side will then have to put the pressure on and say, look, we want to go, you want us gone. What are we doing here? And that's the key thing. It's like, we're not going to bow and try and make the deal done as soon as possible. It's not what Spurs do anyway. But also it's a deal that, let's be frank, the Saudi League do have ties to a certain Premier League club who are in within the top 8, they're not going to want to help another top 8 team out with making it easy. So, to be honest, I'm not going to sit and say January 4th that deal would be done. No, it'd be well within to that window. And to be honest, by that point, it'll be too late. I'm going to want someone in that's early on, as soon as possible, within the first week to 10 days, everything done and sorted. And that's why I think they go Illing Jr. It's not to say that's the guy that I want. I'm still about Noosa, but I just see them trying to go. The way I look at it is Jota might be a little bit more refined than Illing Jr. now, but Illing Jr.'s upside is a lot higher. They're going to want something they can build up for the next 6 months leading into next season with European football, where you need people to be rocking and rolling. This season when you've got a week, every single week to train people, that's why I think they go that route. And plus it'll be cheaper and homegrown. So you can kind of see where some minds are pointed towards. Let's talk Lloyd Kelly. So this came from Matt Law. And he said that Tottenham are likely to sign another defender in January. I know. Newsflash. But Lloyd Kelly's injury problems are expected to put them off the Bournemouth man. And this is why I was thinking. The wheels were turning in my head. And you can kind of see the wheels were turning in my head when I start to think about it. He said he's got some injury issues. He's not going to be back until the new year because he's got some hamstring issues, apparently. I'm not saying he'd be injured till the new year. I'm just saying he's not going to be truly fit and ready, right? He's got these injury issues. We've got Mickey van der Ven, who's out probably for another couple of months. Romero's back after the weekend, which, by the way, I will be doing a preview for the City game tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, actually. I should be able to get up before the gym and do it. You're welcome. I was thinking about it. I think they're going to do it where they get a defender in January who's ready to rock and roll and they just plug and play straight away. Like, let's say there's an injury, or let's say, things aren't going well. Right, in you go. You're at centre-half. Romero, he's your new boy with you. Sort it out, And I think if Romero can just focus on one person in defence, that'll be fine. He's got Porro that he trusts. He's got a Dogi that's mustard, and he's got Vicario who's just fantastic. If you let Romero, who's the leader of the defence, the vice captains, and you just say, there you go, sort them out. The transition should hopefully be fairly easy. Now, I think there's one of two things I think would happen. Number one, Spurs sign a different centre-half in January. Actually, one of three things, ignore me. The first thing, though, is they sign another centre-half in January that they can get going straight away without any injury issues. And they sign Lloyd Kelly for the summer. And then they go, perfect, centre-half's done. Right? So there's the first situation. The second situation is they still go for Lloyd Kelly. They get the pre-contract agreement sorted. They go to Bournemouth and say, let's sort out some funds that you can have some money now so you don't lose them free. We get them now. And the third situation is maybe most optimistic for all of us involved, is we still sign the centre-half. We still sign the pre-contract agreement. We then go to Bournemouth and go, look, come on, let's sort something out. Yes, I'd want option C. But to be honest, the situation where you can kind of go, we've got someone in now, he's ready to go for the summer, away we go, we don't need to sign, we've signed a centre-half in the summer, we've got 4 centre-halves, we've got Ashley Phillips, who should be back next month, and I guess that's another body that you can put into that situation. You then kind of get to the situation where you are looking at the rest of the team and how you can fix the rest of the team. Because I don't think some of the areas in the team need a lot of work. Like a backup keeper, it doesn't need a ton of work, right? Backup left back. Okay, you've got a Dogi, you need to get another left back. Right back, we've got Pedro Porro, but you need another right back. Into the midfield, maybe need a little bit more work into midfield because you don't know what's going to happen. Lo Celso or Højbjerg or even Skip. But, you've got Basuma, you've got Sarr, you've got Maddison, you've got Bentancur, who's like your main core four, right? Then into the attack, you've got Kulusevski, you've got Sonny, you've got Brennan Johnson. After that, what happens? You've got Manor Solomon, but he's got some injury issues. Is Richarlison going? Is Brian Hill here to stay long term? We don't know these things. But I think if you can have, let's say, just the more realistic route, if they sign a centre-half and then they maybe get the situation sorted for Lloyd Kelly in the summer, then that centre-half at least sorted for the time being. And then you can This is why I still think in the summer we need a lot. So, in the summer, I could see them maybe getting a backup left back. Maybe in the summer they get another centre mid or two. Maybe another attacker. If they move on Richarlison. And maybe they sign 5 or 6 players, and then in January sign another couple, 2 or 3, and then you start to look at the squad and go, that looks a little bit more like Ange's guys. Because you should get money from sales this summer. It could be a potential, I don't know. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy it. Drop a like on the video if you did. Hit me in the comment section below. Look, you've got the situation of, Matt Law's reports on not only Lloyd Kelly himself, but also Jota, as well as Tom Barkley's report on Jota. Do you still see Jota as the guy that Spurs go for, or do you think a bit more like me? And I'm not saying this is what I want, I'm just saying what I expect, is that they go more the Ealing Jr. route, depending on who you speak to. Subscribe to the channel if you need to hit the bell notification for more. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.